Good morning, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us. Um, so today, as I said yesterday, we'll be looking at revision. For those who haven't been with us since we began, so this will be your chance to have a revision. All right, as I said, that we also have an assessment, but I'm not sure yet of the date, but I will keep you posted as to when we'll have an assessment. Numbers today, all right? Whole numbers. Um, Specifically in whole numbers, we'll look at factors and multiples and how to round off, right? So we're just going to quickly remind ourselves of the factors and multiples and how to round off. Okay, I just want to quickly open my chat box. All right, yes, with the terms work for term 2, we are done with term 2. So now we are going to do a revision. All right. Um, all right. I'm sure some of you would remember this. Um, I remember Matlodi and JD was in the class when I taught this lesson. All right. Okay. So this is something that you need to know about factors. All right. Critical knowledge. When we multiply two numbers, for example, 7 multiplied by 8 equals 58, the answer is called the product of the two numbers, right? So whenever we refer to the word product, you must know that we are talking about the answer of the two multiples, okay? Or rather the answer of the two numbers that multiply each other, okay? So the two numbers are called factors of the product. The two numbers are called factors of the product, and the product have other factors too, right? For example, 56 has 1 as a product, 2, 4, 7, 8, 14, 28, and 56, right? So these are the products of, sorry, these are the factors of the product, which is 56, okay? A product is a multiple of each of its factor, okay? A product is a multiple of each of its factors, right? Okay, this is something that you need to know, right? So here we have mental calculation. Quickly, let's answer this mental calculation. The first one, it says calculate 2 multiplied by 3. Second one is 7 multiplied by 11. All right, thank you, Zana 6. The second one, 77, thank you. The and C, we have 11 multiplied by 12. Mental calculations, guys. It's mental calculations. Thank you. Thank you, 132. 132. 12 multiplied by 11 is, or 11 multiplied by 12 is 132, meaning 132. Thank you. So D, we have 8 multiplied by 4, 32. Right. The last one, E, we have 5 multiplied by 9. Thank you so much. It is 45. It is 45. Okay. All right, we're looking at number 2. Which of these numbers are not multiples of 2? 17 and 55, that's right. 17 and 55, yes, and I've already given that away. Okay, let's look at B. For A, it is 17 and 55, and for B, 35. Thank you so much. 35 and 93, yes. 35 and 93. Thank you. And let's look at C. 13, correct. 13 is not a multiple of 2. Okay, right. Let's move to our next slide. I think this class is going to end quickly. I am afraid that this class will end quickly because it seems that the slides are pretty simple. I don't know whether it's because we've done it before. Okay, let's move to our next slide. All right, what are the factors of 6? Okay, now to understand factors of 6, we must ask ourselves how to make 6 a product of 2 numbers, right? What are the factors of 6? That's the question. And now the statement says, for us to be able to understand factors of 6, we must ask ourselves how to make 6 a product, right? A product of 2 numbers. Remember, we said a product is the answer of the 2 factors, right? So here we said 1 multiplied by 6. Those are the first 2 factors. And 2 multiplied by 3. That's another factor. Okay, I have people writing 1, 2, 3, and 6. Those 4 numbers are factors of 6. That's correct. We have 1, we have 6, we have 2, we have 3 as factors of 6, right? So to check the factors, we can always divide using the product, and the remainder must be 0, right? Okay, today we're learning about multiples and factors. We'll also look at rounding off because we are done with today's work. So yes, to check the factors, we can always divide using the product, and the remainder must be 0, right? For example, we'll say for us to check if 1 is really a product of 6, we'll say 6 divided by 6, right? Because we have 1 multiplied by 6, and the answer is 6. Remember, we said when we're doing an inverse, you start with the product, meaning you start with the answer, okay? So when you say 1 multiplied by 6, the answer will equal to 6. So we will say 6 divided by 6, the answer must be 1, right? Because we are checking, and there must be no remainder because we are checking now our factors if they are correct, right? And for 6, for 2 multiplied by 3, right? We have 2 multiplied by 3, and the answer is 6, right? So we'll say 6 divided by 3. Remember, we said when you are doing an inverse, right, you start from right to left. We are not going to say, we cannot jump and say, okay, we're saying 2 and say 6 divided by 2, right? Because we are dealing with now 2 multiplied by 3, and we're doing an inverse. So we're starting from the right to left, and we said when we do that, you will say 6 divided by 3. The answer will have to be 2, right? 6 divided by 3, and we said we always change the sign because we are doing an inverse when we checking our factors. So we always change the sign, and the answer is 2. And then again, we'll say 3 multiplied by 2, the answer is 6. So, sorry, the answer is 2. Sorry, yes, 3 multiplied by 2, the answer is 6. We will then say 6 divided by 2, the answer is 6. Okay? All right, if you were not here for the past 2 days, Zamila, you can always go to our website. All those who were not here for the past 2 days, you can always go to our website, which is Africa King Geeks, or you can check on YouTube using the topic and the date, meaning Monday was the 25th of May. Topic was capacity and volume, and yesterday was content, containers, and measurements. So you just punch in the date on YouTube and the topic, you'll be able to find the lessons which we talked about yesterday. All right. So for example, all right, we're saying, for example, 6 divided by 3, the answer is 2. All right. Okay. So what are the factors of these products? All right. I think I've given away already for the first one. What are the products of, what are the factors of these products? We have the first one is 132, right? The first one is 132. So the first product of 132 is obviously 1, because 1 multiplied by 132 is 2. And we have second product, which is 2. Sorry, the second factor, which is 2. 2 multiplied by 66, right? And then we have the third one. We have a third one, which is 3. The fourth, which is 6. Okay, I also see 9. I see someone saying 9 and someone saying 32. So the numbers that we're writing are these, the factors of 132. Because the question says, what are the factors of these products? And we're still looking at number 1. We're still looking at number 1. So we said the first one is 1. 1 multiplied by 32. The second one is 2, right? 2 multiplied by 66. And the third one we said it is 3. Because when you multiply 3 by 44, you have 132. And then the other one is 6. And we multiply 6 by 22. The answer will be 132. So we have 1, 2, 3, 6, 22, 44, 66, and 132 as the first product. Right, JD moves to B, or rather to number 2. He says 1, 2, 4, 8, 9, 32. So I'm assuming these are the factors for 32. You have 1, 2, 8, 9, 32. All right, we said to check our factors, we do the inverse operation, which is, now you guys all have included 9. So 9 is not a factor of 32. 9 is not a factor of 32. You use the inverse operation, but then 9 is not a factor of 2. Right? Let's look at the factors of 32. Right? So you multiply 1 multiplied by 32, it is 32. So 1, yes, is a factor. 2 multiplied by 16, it is 32. So 16 and 2 are factors. We have 4, and I see the 3 also. There's people writing 3 as a factor of 32. Oh, Zan is still answering 130, the first one. Oh, okay. All right. And then we say 4 multiplied by 8, the answer is 32. So 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16, those are the factors of 32. Okay, 9 is not a factor of 32. 3 is not a factor of 32, because when you divide to check if these are factors, because we said that if you want to make sure that your factors are correct, you must use the inverse operation, meaning you will divide using the same number and there must be no remainder. Okay, there must be no remainder. If there is a remainder, then you must know that that number is not a factor of whatever product you were checking. Okay, so let's look at 45. Let's look at 45. What are the factors of 45? All right, we have 1, 3, 5, 9, 15, 45. Okay, the other one says we have 1, 3, 5, and 45. Okay, 1, 3, 5, 9, 15, 45. Okay, I think we are agreeing. 1, 3, 5, 15, 45. Right. Remember also 9 is, yes, 9 is also a multiple of, sorry, is also a factor of 45. All right, 9 is also a factor of 45. Right, we have, and 15, I didn't write 15, yes, also 15, because 15 multiplied by 3 is 45. 15 multiplied by 3 is 45, so I didn't write 15 on my answers. I only have 1, 5, 9, and 45, right? So 15 and 3 are factors because when you multiply 3 by 15, you get 45. Thank you so much for that. So we have 1, we have 3, we have 5, we have 9. 9 multiplied by 4, right? No, man, sorry. 9 multiplied by 5, my apologies. 9 multiplied by 5 gives you 45. So we have 1 with 3, 5, 9, 15, and 45 as factors of the product, which is 45. Someone said 8. Okay, no, 8 is not a factor of 45. 8 is not a factor of 45. The correct factors for 45, it is 1, 3, 5, 9, 15, and 45. Because when you multiply 1 multiplied by 45, that is 45, you get the product. And 3 multiplied by 15, you get 45, that's the product. 5 multiplied by 9, you get 45, and that's the product. Okay? So let's move on to our next slide. Let's move on to our next slide. All right, as I said, that we'll also be looking at rounding off. Okay, we'll also be looking at rounding off whole numbers. We have different forms of rounding off, which form part of our cultural practices. Okay, we have different forms of rounding off, which form part of our cultural practices. For example, the distance on road maps are normally given to the nearest kilometer, right? The distance on the road maps is normally given to the nearest kilometer. The length of a person is normally stated to the nearest centimeter. It is normally stated to the nearest centimeter, right? And in carpentry, lengths are normally given to the nearest millimeter. So in carpentry, lengths are normally given to the nearest millimeter. All right, so when we round off numbers, we round off to the nearest unit of measurement. We round off to the nearest unit of measurement, be it 5, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and so on, right? So in everyday life, a person's age is often rounded off. Hence, we said it forms part of our cultural practices. Also, age, looking at the age, it is normally rounded off to the full years, right? For example, a person who is born in the year 2008 may be 11 years and 4 months, right? And their age may be rounded off to 11 years. right? Because they're only 11 years, 4 months. But if the person was 11 years, 10 months, their age may be rounded off to 12 years, right? Because they'll be finishing the 12th year in 2 months. So it may be normally rounded off to 12 years. All right. So we are going to do this exercise, round off to the nearest 10. Round off the following numbers to the nearest 10. So here are the rules of rounding off, right? When you're rounding off to the nearest 10, you look at the unit, right? You look at the unit. The unit must be 5 or more, and then you round up. If the unit is 4 or less, then you round down. Okay? So you round down, meaning the number stays the same, right? And whatever number is after that, those numbers are deleted, meaning they become 0. As we said previously, those numbers are deleted, so you don't write whatever number comes after you have rounded off, or the given number that must be rounded off, right? So now let's round off with the first one. We have 7. We are rounding off to the nearest 10. We have 7. So it is always wise to round off, rather to first underline the number that you will be rounding off, right? You underline the given number. Then what you do, you look at the next number or the next unit, and then you circle that number, right? And then you round off, and then you see whether the number is 5 above or 4 less. Then you round off, right? Remember those steps? I hope you do remember those steps. So let me look at the answers. The first one is 10. That's correct because 7 is bigger than 5. First one is 10. All right. So what is the answer for number 2? We have 568. All right. I see 570, 570 from Mukumo, Sri Mukona, and Adele. And see here we have 570. That's correct. The correct answer is 570. And for number 3, number 3, we have 34. So what is the correct answer? 30. Everyone agrees. 30. All right, please. When you're 11 years old and 1 month, so your age will be rounded off to 11 years. Okay. So the correct answer, they say, is 30. I don't know where that 03 comes from. All right, we're looking at number 3, 34. The correct answer is 30. And number 4, we have 2,249. Okay, blessing 2,250. Samile, Morunwa. All right, nice. 2,250. That's the correct answer. And then number 5, the last one in our rounding off to the nearest 10 is 21. Okay, everyone agrees it is 20 because the number 1 is less than 4. Great. Now let's do the second exercise. Round off the following numbers to the nearest, to the nearest 100. Round off the following numbers to the nearest 100. So the rules are the same. The first one, the given number is 60 because we are rounding off to the nearest 100. Hence, we underlined 60. So that one will be 100, right? I see everyone agrees. And the second one, I see 400. That's correct because we have 392. So the given number here is 90. So we are rounding off 90. It is close to 100, so we'll have 400. Right, let's look at number 3. We have 10,832. 10,832. We are rounding off to the nearest hundred. I see 10,900. Okay, everyone else says 10,800. That's correct. Okay, Adele says she's 11 and 8 months. So your age would probably be rounded off to 12 years because you are closer to 12. In 4 months, you'll be 12. Right, so the correct answer for number 3, it is 10,832. Right, okay. Now let us round off the following to the nearest thousand. Let us round off the following to the nearest thousand. I see 5,000, 5,000. All right, because we have underlined 5, and 5 is a given number, which is 500, and we have 4,523. So that's the correct one. I see for B, people are saying 3,000. So what's the given number for 3? Because there is no number that is underlined. What is the given number for B? What number are we looking at so that we know why we got to a 3,000? What number are we looking at for B number? It's the number 2. What is the place value number? Give me the place value number because we have two number 2s there. We have 3229. So what? Give me the place value. You're saying number 2. So which 2 exactly? Give me the place value. 200. Right? It is 200. The place value number is 200. So we are looking at 200, and 200 is less than 500 because we are rounding off to the nearest thousand. That is why we have a 3,000 as the answer. So whenever you are asked, you must give the given number. You must write the place value number, the number that which is represented, and not just the number 2. Okay. And for C, we have 17,546. I see people writing 17,000 and others are writing 18,000. All right, let us look at the given number. What is the given number so that we are all on the same page? What is the given number? What number are we looking at? It is 500. Yes, we are looking at 500. So the correct answer will be 8,000 because we said any number from 5 and above, whether it is 5, it is 50, 500, 5,000, whatever we're rounding off nearest to, we always look at the number 5. So in this case, it is 500. So we will look at 500, which is 17,000. Now the correct answer will be 18,000. Right? If the answer is the number is 500, correct. For D, we have, okay, Matlodi, you have 3,600. Oh, okay, you're answering D. For D, we have 2,612. So the number that we'll look at is 600, according to Matlodi. The number we'll look at is 600, and then we will round up to 3,000. It is not 2,700. We are not rounding off to the nearest 100. Remember, we are rounding off to the nearest 1,000. So we are looking at 600, and then we are rounding it up to the nearest 1,000. So our correct answer will be 3,000. Okay. So let's look at E. I think this is our last exercise. As I said, that this class might end earlier than anticipated. Okay, what's the number that we're looking at? Okay, 200. So it says we're looking at 200, hence the answer will be 13,000. Thank you. You look at the given number. Given number is 200, and you round down. You don't round up, you round down to 13,000. This is what we meant when we said earlier on that you will not write, or rather you will delete all the other numbers, right? When you round down, you're rounding down, the number remains the same, remains 13,000, because 2 is less than 4, or rather 200 is less than 500. So we round it down and we don't write the 2, 3, and 7. We only write 13,000. This is what we meant. Okay, and I think this one, the following slide, will be our last one. Yes, okay. So rounding to the nearest 10. Rounding to the nearest 10, we have here 200. We'll first look at this block. So we're rounding to the nearest 10, to the nearest 100, to the nearest 1,000, to the nearest 10,000, and to the nearest 100,000. Okay, so here we have 239, 238, 237, 236, 235, right? So right from 235 upwards, we will round up to 240. Okay, so we will round up to 240, starting from 235 right up to 239. We will round up to 240 because we are rounding off to the nearest 10, right? And from 234, 233, 232, 231, we round down. We will round down to 230 because it is less than 5. The unit number which we are looking at, because we are rounding off to the nearest 10, is less than 5. So anything from 4, 3, 2, 1, those numbers will be rounded down. Okay, so looking at the pink block, we are rounding off to the nearest 100, the pink block. All right, anything up from 7,350, 351. We have then 7,398. Then we have 7,399. All those numbers will be rounded up to the nearest 100, right? So we will have 7,400. Starting from 7,350 right up to 7,399, those numbers will be rounded up to 7,400. We are rounding off to the nearest 100. And looking here at 7,301, 7,302, right up to 7,349, we will round those numbers down to 7,300. We are rounding down to 7,300. Okay, and then moving on to the blue block. Moving to the blue block, we are rounding off to the nearest 1,000. So any number, right? Any number that is above 500. Any number that is above 500 will be rounded up to 6,000. Any number that is above 500 will be rounded up to 6,000. So from here, from 5,500 right up to 5,999, those numbers will be rounded up to 6,000. So any number starting from 5,499 down to 5,001, 5,001 will be rounded off to 5,000 because we are rounding off to the nearest thousand. Right? We started off with the 10, 100, and 1,000. Now looking at the yellow box, we are rounding off to 10,000. Right? 10,000. We are rounding off to 10,000. The yellow box here, any number starting from 25,000 right up to 29,999 will be rounded up to 30,000. Okay, it will be rounded up to 30,000. And any number from 24,999 right down to 20,001, those numbers will be rounded off or will be rounded down to 20,000 because you are rounding off to the nearest 10,000. So from 25,000 up, it will be 30,000. From 24,999 down to 20,001, it will be 20,000. Right? Rounding off to the nearest 100,000. Rounding off to the nearest 100,000. So we have here 699, 100, sorry, 699, 999, right? So all those numbers right down to 650,000. 650,000 will be rounded up to 700,000. Will be rounded up to 700,000. And all the numbers from 649,999 will be rounded down, sorry, from 649,999 down to 600,001 will be rounded down to 600,000. Right? Will be rounded down to 600,000. Okay? Let me look at the chat box quickly. Yes, that's correct, JD. JD says 4321 goes down and 56789 goes up. That's correct. Great. Matlodi also says they are different in place values. They are all the same but different in place values. That's correct. This is what we have just done now. I am so grateful that you guys have learned how to round off and what needs to be looked at. Okay, they are the same but now different depending on the number that you're rounding off to. As Matlodi said, they differ with the place value. Right? All right, so if you were not here yesterday and you want to catch up with the lesson, you can always go to YouTube. The topic for yesterday, you type the date, which was the 26th of May, and the topic was containers and measurements. And for Monday, the topic was capacity and volume. You type the date and the topic and your grade, right? Don't forget to type the grade. And then you will be able to get the lessons that we had yesterday and Monday. All right. Those who were not here, those who missed out, can always look at the the lessons from YouTube, or you can always go to our website, Africa Teen Geek. Then that's where you'll be able to get the lessons. All right. We have come to the end of our lesson. Thank you so much for taking part. We are doing a revision. Tomorrow we'll look at something else. We'll look at something else. Okay, those who need previous material. All right, if you need whatever you've missed out on, always go to our website. All the lessons that we take part in, they are in our website. You'll also find them on YouTube. Okay? You can always find them on YouTube or go to africateengeeks.com. All right? Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Keep safe and enjoy the rest